everyone. I'm the non-musical accompaniment for all the music. So I'm going to read some words that I wrote. These are going back in time quite a bit. So the first two are from last week. That's not going back in time quite a bit, but the other two are a little bit older. I'm going to read 4 sets of words, 4 pieces. So this first one I wrote last week, it's called Roads to Locations. Roads converge occasionally. Planned on the surface, unexpected in the soul. Reminiscence shines through, converging in locations, never sent away, never kept close enough. Not all roads lead to the same location. The myth of destination is a lie. So that was a really short one. Then this one I also wrote last week. This one's a little bit longer. These get progressively longer and progressively older. So this is also last week. It's called On the Way, Going Back. I keep going back in my mind, into your mind, but into words, spoken in turn. We cannot go back into our minds or to times passed by, regrettably. I regret nothing, while I still got a grip. New again, because I'm still trying to find somewhere. I had a destination, but this wasn't it. I'm not settling, it was on the way. I find it a sign of weakness, not being able to find inside the inspiration within self to carry on in strength. Maybe that's it in words, simply put, in words. For those who cannot, there is extrinsic motivation. Carrots on sticks, pulling them forward. With the next step, it's good until the carrot falls off. Thank you. All right, the next two are a little bit older, well, a lot older. This one, I think I originally wrote this in 2003. I did a lot of the revisions to this poem in 2004 on 152 Willow Street on the front porch with my friend who lived there at the time. He doesn't live there anymore, but this poem was revised quite a bit back then. And I think I read this once at Cafe 9 when I used to read there like 10 years ago. So this one is called My Goose is Loose, and it's a little bit of a change from the other two. My goose is loose. 100 mute Canada geese fell upon my body as I lay, unaware and resigned to the flurry of furious beaks and wings, tattering clothes to bloody rags, against living flesh, tearing at sinews, prying bone from bone, wrenching entrails from tidy quarters until gaps grew, membranes ruptured, exposing a translucent egg. Mucus and huge, inside I struggled until it cracked and crumpled. Pieces fell away and I emerged, a sable goose, full grown, and led the way south for winter. That was a little different. Thank you. All right, so this next one I wrote even longer ago. This one is from 1998. It's a little experimental, so I want to see what you guys think of it. If you snap or clap, that'll give me some motivation. I, not me. Remember, it's experimental before I start. It's called I, not me. I used to come down here all the time just to watch the water, the waves, and the distorted picture show of the river, reflections on the water. The lights from miles away dance on the surface, bringing them closer. I, entranced by their hypnotic sway, would become lost in timelessness. It was different then. N and S and I would come here. It turned into their playground, skipping rocks, climbing on the gazebo, chasing shadows. This artificial point kept them young, but tonight I came here alone. She tried to recapture the moments of years long past. The carelessness was gone though. She felt alone, isolated by time. I was someone else now. The wooden gazebo still stood at the beginning of the rocky peninsula, its grayed surface smooth now by years of attacking wind and rain and temperatures. Weeds had grown tall, surrounding the dilapidated building, if you could call it that, a roof and a floor with beams of wood separating the two, but they were brown now, rustling in the winter breeze. I smiled at the wind I smiled as the wind whipped through the open space, laughing and tearing at her. The makeshift shelter seemed to intensify the wind, trapping it within the narrow space, angering it. I walked down the path to the end of the rocky pier. The small waves lapped on the edge of the huge rock, formless, fluid, meeting the hard, jagged surface. I, mesmerized by the quiet slogging sound, focused her eyes at the line where the two met. A layer of wet algae stretched a short way up the rocky wall. The tide slowly receded from the rock. I edged her body into the interlocked slope, closer to the edge of the water. She tried to remember why she had chosen to come back to this place, but she couldn't, as if the river's echo had drawn her from miles away. I sunk her feet into the water. The icy liquid bit through her shoes into her skin. She looked further out over the surface of the water. I turned her head to see the distorted lights playing on the surface as her abdomen dipped into the numbing cold. She could remember skipping rocks across the surface years ago, trying to reach the other side of the river. She felt closer now, at the same time distant. When the surface touched her neck, I shut her eyes. She remembered the wind in the gazebo, numb to the coldness surrounding her as the water closed over her head. So that's it. So I wrote that one a long time ago. Thank you.
This is a very pro poetry of the mind. Especially around the sense of